Alright, this is lukemick here with Tyler Johnson, and we just went to the premiere of World War Z, and we're going to tell you guys all about it. So, World War Z is pretty much the story of Brad Pitt. I think his character's name is Jerry, and he's trying to protect his family from the new zombie outbreak. They were in Philadelphia, was that it?
Yeah, I think so.
They're from Philadelphia, and basically the military or the United Nations tells Brad Pitt that if you don't go look for a cure in North Korea, or South Korea, that's not good, South Korea, then we're going to kick your family out off the boat and they're not going to be safe. So that's pretty much the whole plot of the movie. So the story, I mean, I'm not sure what to talk about first here. I mean, do you want to start it off?
Pretty much Brad Pitt is on a hunt for the origin of the disease that causes the zombie outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much the storyline, and I guess that is the storyline. So, my thoughts on the story, I thought it was very different. You know, you usually don't see this in kind of like a zombie type of movie.
Yeah.
Except, I mean, sort of, I guess, would you say 28 Days Later, just a little bit?
Yeah, but this is different because it really starts with the source. And 28 Days Later, it's 28 days after the whole thing where you really start to see it's like kind of the aftermath. Most zombie movies are set in the aftermath, but this one really shows you how quick everything happened and how developed that the disease, not the disease, but just how, I guess the disease, how easy it was for it to spread, and the characters that you are watching witness the whole thing happen right before their eyes, and you really get a sense of that this is really dangerous, right?
Yeah.
So I like that about it. I can't name any movies that do it that way, where it's like this is happening right now and all the characters have to think on their toes, you know?
Yeah.
So the plot, I think, is pretty good, and let's start talking about where it goes from there with the plot. Essentially, the game is kind of set up like a video game.
The game? The movie?
What'd I say?
I said the game is set up like the...
Why did I say that? Essentially, the movie is set up like a video game with the way the plot moves. Brad Pitt goes from point A to point B to point C to point D. He keeps jumping from country to country, and what he does is he meets like one person there, and they give him a tip to go to the next place. So it's a big kind of treasure hunt video game setup, and it's it's pretty basic, but it gets the job done, I think.
Yeah, I think it was complex enough to make it interesting and not like shitty, you know? Not like, oh my gosh. But no, it was interesting. So I mean, like it was developed enough.
Yeah. So, and now let's talk about the acting. Brad Pitt, first of all, I thought did a really good job.
Yeah. Yeah, there was only a few times I was like, what the...
Yeah, maybe is that kind of the dialogue? Some of the dialogue might be a little odd.
Yeah, but overall, he did a good job.
Yeah.
At first, I wasn't really digging the haircut, but then after a while, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean...
Not that has to do anything with the acting, but...
Yeah, so, I know Brad Pitt really put a lot of effort into this movie. He was kind of touring the whole world trying to promote this movie, because it wasn't really doing too well, and he really wanted to make it work, and he produced it too.
Yep.
And he really put a lot of effort, I think, into the role that he was playing, and just getting the movie kind of off the ground, you know?
Yeah, getting hype, you know? Hype going, make sure people go see it, so they get their money out of it.
Yeah. And his wife, I think, does a good enough job, and his two kids in the movie, I think, really weren't that bad. They didn't really bug me.
Yeah, there was a few, like, both the kids did a pretty good job. Like, I was a little worried with Luke. He really hates child actors. If they suck,
gotta be good.
If they suck ass, like in The Purge.
Yeah.
Then
Jesus.
Okay,
the girl in The Purge.
Okay,
all
right,
they were both bad.
We're not going to talk about. Okay, so you know, it was good. You know, the kids did a good job.
Yeah.
You know, from the situation that they got, I felt like that would be. If I was their age, I felt like that'd be kind of my response to it, you know?
Yeah, I think the way they were written and the way they acted was all really good. And then there's a bunch of other characters that you meet. Like I said, it's kind of like a video game. He goes from that character to that character. They don't really have a lot to do. They just kind of tell Brad Pitt that this is really where you have to go. There aren't really many characters that stick with them throughout the whole movie. There's one girl towards the end, and she reminds me of Ripley in Alien 3. She has a buzz cut.
Yeah.
But I mean, she does okay. She's not anyone I don't think people really know. Brad Pitt really is the only star of the movie.
Yeah.
He's really the only movie that's. If he weren't in it, then I think the movie, it'd just not work out. If Brad Pitt weren't in it, you know what I mean?
Like as far as
like I don't know how many
getting
people.
hype,
How many people it would attract because he's really the only notable person in the movie that people really know.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I don't think I really recognized anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, his wife, I think I've seen her in something, but I don't know.
Is she the girl in The Killing on AMC? I think that might be her. So most of the other characters are just sort of there, and they get the job done. I'm going to use that a lot in the acting. Let's talk about the direction. I'm going to say it. I think the direction gets the job done. It's nothing spectacular, but it's what it needs to be. It's nothing special, but it's not awful. So.
Yeah. Can I just, like, not really like a spoiler, but just kind of like a situation for the movie? Oh, whatever.
It's going to kind of be like me in After Earth with the biting of the capsule. I mean, you can sort of...
Okay. Alright, I'm hoping everybody's seen the trailer. Pretty much, the first thing in the trailer, Brad Pitt's in the car, and then the whole thing happens, and then, anyway, goes from there. The whole that part, like, was really shaky cam, and that kind of bothered me at first, but then I was like... I felt like the shaky cam actually did really well with this situation because it kind of showed the chaos and the hectic.
And it didn't use shaky cam for the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
because he had experienced everything and it wasn't as jarring and rattling as it was at the beginning. I know what you mean.
Yeah. At first I was a little bothered. I was like, geez, a lot of shaky cam. But then I was like, it's used well, like I said, the chaos, the stress and everybody's running around. It played out really well.
And
I felt.
Yeah, in the end, I realized why they did that. So, now I think the tone of the movie is really bland. There's not really a lot of nice visuals. It's pretty just kind of dreary and dark, and I mean, it's just kind of drab. What do you think about the tone?
Yeah.
Just the visual style.
There's not really, like, anything, like, eye-popping, and there's not really, like... There wasn't, like, a shot in the movie that I was like, wow, that's a really good shot.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I mean,
nothing
nothing like wow, but, I mean, it was alright,
Yeah.
Nothing too great about it.
So, where are we going to go from here? I'm trying to think here. We saw the movie in 3D, and I'm just going to tell you right now, don't see it in 3D, because like we mentioned with that first scene pretty much in the movie, the 3D makes that whole shaky cam part even blurrier, and I couldn't see what was going on, and that bugged me. So don't go in 3D, and there's not anything else in the movie.
Oh yeah, if you're someone who's kind of curious about like the CGI, kind of like Luke was at first,
that too. I was gonna mention that.
They do use real people and real like makeup and stuff for the close-ups
of the zombies.
But when they're doing like when the zombies are like running really fast and stuff, or like just like a lot of them, then they'll use CGI. I mean, like, I guess.
Yeah, if they're piling up on them.
I mean, if there's a lot of them like just running really fast.
Yeah, then they use some CGI. I liked how they didn't have a bunch of CGI freaks walking around, so that was good. The pacing of the movie, when he goes to actually talk to the people to get from point A to point B, it takes kind of a while, I think, and I think it kind of slows down. And I think that the length of the movie is maybe a little too long. There's some scenes that are kind of unneeded, and it kind of just drags the movie along, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I felt the movie was like a pretty good length. I mean, they really, from what they had, I felt like they could only cut down like, they couldn't really cut down much, otherwise I felt like the story would have been kind of like cut. But I felt like maybe a couple scenes could have been chopped a little, but I felt like the pacing and overall, like the time, for me, was alright.
Yeah. So, there are some cheesy parts of the movie too, I think. Maybe just some cheesy lines here and there that are kind of off-putting. And some of the characters aren't really that useful. I mean, there's some characters that are sort of there.
Yeah,
so,
I'll agree with that one.
Yeah, but, I mean, overall, the movie kind of I think just does what it has to do. It's moderately entertaining. I didn't find myself too bored throughout the thing. Brad Pitt gives a good performance. And I like that they didn't use CGI throughout the whole thing. I'm just going to go ahead and give it 3 out of 5 stars. Tyler?
For me, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I'm going to give it a 4. I thought it was a good movie. I mean, shit. I don't know. I kind of. Okay, I'm not gonna give it a 4. As of right now, I'm kind of like leaning between 3.5 and 4. I can't find that fine medium yet because I didn't. 4, it seems like it's more on the love side, you know, and I'm in love with this movie or not. Well, not really in love, but just I liked
you
it
gave
enough.
Man of Steel.
Yeah, that's true.
It was Man of Steel.
But like, I mean, okay, I'm not gonna get into Man of Steel anyway. But 3.5, you know, I feel like it's fair, but it's not fair enough. So I'm not really sure where to put it. So 3.5 to 4. So 3.75, I guess.
All right. So that's our review for World War Z. We're gonna go see Monsters University. Kind of rhymed. Tomorrow, hopefully, right?
Yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, we'll get to it tomorrow. I mean, we'll find a way.
Okay, and then probably I really want to go see the Bling Ring on Saturday, and maybe we'll find a way, or I'll find a way to make it to before midnight. But I haven't seen any of the other ones, so I don't know if I'll go see that. Please subscribe. Luke, Mick, and Tyler bringing you guys reviews, and we'll talk to you later.